Hello and welcome to Model Kit Stuff. It's First Impressions Day and today we're looking at the Deans Marine US Army Hospital ship St. Olaf, and there's some interesting stats there. 1.4 meters long. Yes, hello and welcome to Model Kit Stuff. We're looking at this. This is the largest model kit in my collection. It just pips the length of the 1-200 Hood and Yamato. It is longer than those. And this is a kit that's designed by Deans Marine for use on water. Radio control it and bomb it around a lake is the general idea. And as you can see, it comes in a very large, sturdy corrugated box. I've had it since it was released in 2014 and it's been lurking around the attic ever since. You can see on the front we've got a picture of the built actual model, or several pictures, including on the water test bed at Deans Marine. It tells you it's a full kit because they also do semi-kits, and it gives you a little bit of talk about the model. An attractive model with a length of 1.4 meters beam of 385 millimeters, makes into a super detailed replica of the ship with all its cluttered up appearance. It has lots of carrying capacity for the largest NICADs. It's got lots of space for heavy batteries, and so you can get hours of play with it. And then here we've got some pictures of some of the kit detail, which is really interesting. Now, if you don't know Deans Marine, they just do ships, large-scale ships, and they all are of a similar format to what you're going to see in this. They've been going for quite some time. They're quite specialist one way or another. It's multimedia stuff, and it's all stuff that is designed to deal with getting wet. So it's slightly different to anything else you've seen on the channel before. Right then, normally we'd take you through the instructions, but we're going to do this a little bit differently, and we're going to open the box and have a look what we can see first. So here is our hull. It's a monster, and the first thing you're going to notice is this is actually a fiberglass hull. It's been formed all in one, so you have to drill out positioning holes for rudders and what have you. So let me lift it up so you can see the detailing of the outer hull. So there is our outer hull, and you can see there are some bits that we have to cut out, and you've got marking positions for the scuttles, which you need to then sort as well. And then it comes along here, and you've got to drill a hole there for your propeller and what have you. But it's lovely and smooth. Needs a clean before you start building. Decorators soap spray is the best way to go on something like this. But yeah, and obviously designed to be buoyant and to work as radio control, so you've not got things like bilge keels and stuff on there. But yeah, that is your starting point for this. Through the parts first, and then we'll do the instructions. So that's because some of these parts go inside the hull. So that is some of our mast and boom, which is, as you can see, wooden dowel that you're going to have to tidy up and cook to length. Then we have a tray full of resin Carly floats, all stacked up as they're going to be applied on the ship. So you just need to get rid of the casting block on the bottom, and in there you go. So yeah, I don't want to open anything for a closer look because there is so much stuff. I don't want it getting lost or damaged. So yeah, there you go, lots of Carly floats. Also, we have some vac form parts. These first ones being the 2 funnel halves and some lifeboats. Some more lifeboats. Some more lifeboats. A thing. No idea what that is. And some lifeboats. They provide you with vinyl pre-cut crosses for the funnel and the sides of the hull, and some vinyl tape for the green markings along the hull. We have a sheet of acetate for glazing, and a sheet of water slide decals for, yep, that's right, the ship's boats. Also in the hull we'll find a CD full of construction pictures. Now most of the superstructure, the decks and all of that lot is made from plastic card, which has been pre-laser cut by Dean's Marine. So there is lots and lots of parts there. And these are big sheets, I can't fit them on my desk. Big sheets. There's 2 of them here, and it's all 1mm plastic card. Look at all those gussets and bits and pieces we've got to work through. Some of them might need a little bit of folding, and they all need bits cutting out and so on, but it's basically laser cut with tabs. You finish cutting through the tabs and clean it up. So that's 2, 3, 4 sheets, another 2 sheets, 1.5mm thick, and you can see we are dealing with the deck there. And if I pull that back, you can see the other section of the deck there. And lots of brackets. And all of those things in there will be parts used for something. Many of them are lasered with a reference number on the inside as well. Another 3 sheets, this time 1mm thickness again, and you can see we've got all sorts of fittings here, crosses and bits and pieces. And you can also see it's got protective film over it. Then we've got more, I'm guessing it's deck planking, all of these strips, but I'm not 100% sure. And then we've got, there's a rooftop there. We've got positions marked out for buildings. We've got structure wall sides, probably where the funnel goes around there. So lots and lots of plastic card, and there's more. Another 2 sheets of 1mm plastic card, and this time I'm going to give you a bit of perspective. That is the bridge wings. That is my hand. So my hand pretty much is just about the span of the upper deck, where the bridge wheelhouse is going to be, and then the pilot wings that stick over the sides there. So it's huge. And we'll pull that one back and see what we've got there. Yeah, you can see that's where all the little portholes will have to be inserted. We can see where doors are going to go. So it's all clearly marked out. And if you follow the instructions clearly, it won't be an issue. But it does look a little bit daunting, doesn't it? These are the last 2 sheets, 1.5mm again. That's making 13 in total sheets of heavy gauge plastic card that we're going to be using to build the main structures. None of the detail as yet. I beg your pardon, 15 sheets. Just found another 2. These are much smaller, and you can see they've got detail on them. So for inside of those vac-formed ship's boats. Now, some of mine were a little bit damaged, so you can see there. It was no problem. They sent me replacements, and I've got more than I need now. And then you can see we've got details here on the doors and various bits and pieces, watertight doors and hull doors and stuff, loading doors. Yeah. Then we have a sheet of photo etch. So that deals with things like cable reels, pulleys for the various davits. We've got ship's boats fittings, and then loads and loads and loads of stanchions for the railings, and some ladders as well. Then we have 2 trays of detail parts, and these are a combination of resin and white metal primarily. There is 1 or 2 other bits in there as well, but you can see all sorts of parts there, bollards, all need cleaning up, vents, cleats, spot lamps, davits, ship's doors, not quite sure, compass. We've got some copper chain there, and then things like lockers are done in resin. You can see we've got some blocks there which are white metal, anchor, another Carly float. We've got the ropes for the cable reels there, the centres. There we go. Some ladders, life belts, winding gear. Yeah. Then our second tray. In the centre there, we've got the rudder shaft, which is all prepared. So all you've got to do is insert that. Then we've got propellers. We've got all sorts of davits. Most of this is davits, with all the parts for each davit in one section. So when you take the tape off this, it's all sticking to the tape. So you're gonna have to carefully remove them a bit at a time. Probably worth cutting each window out as you go. You can see that we've got 2 reels of brass wire. Some of that for the railings, of course. More photo etch ladders, some resin ventilators. It's crude, old style type resin that needs a good clean up. But yeah, and that is it for parts. Included in the kit is 1 plan, but it is full scale. It's absolutely huge. I'm going to ring a taxi in a minute and we'll go to the other side of it. It is absolutely huge. So we have a side profile. And then we have an overhead view looking down. Just going to help you with positioning of all those detail parts. They've also included some photographs, so you can see colour photographs. There you go, spare propeller on there, and you get the reference for the deck colours and what have you. And then you can see the positionings, and because it's 1:1 scale, you can measure everything and make sure everything is correct. And the same on the side. You see they reference all of the parts. So PE1, it'll be that railing there. So you just cut that to length. You can see they're drawing in D58. So that's another vent, and they've drawn that in there. Must have been missed off the original plan. You can see silhouette of the ship's boats with their decals on. So, not a small model by any shape. I also want to show you this. Shows you the positioning of the parts inside for the propeller. So motor, oiling tube, prop shaft, battery packs. Right then, let's have a look at what paperwork we get with this massive kit. So I'm starting here This is a checklist of everything that should be in the box. So we've got the contact details, email address, and it tells us, well, it starts with general, so fiberglass hull, fittings tray ×3, water slide decals, vinyl decals, build CD, brass etch sheet. So what they've done is they've been crossed off twice, which means I'm guessing that they've been double checked. Timber dowels and some ramming. Then main plan, instruction book, building guide, tray plans, leaflets, lifeboats. This is the vac form stuff, lifeboats and funnels, and motor mount. So I think that funny thing, I wasn't sure what it was. I think that's probably the large motor mount. And then the plastic sheets, it's listing what we've got. It just says laser sheet, so how they know? They must just count the numbers. Laser boats and doors and glazing, and then the metal wires, and picked by and bagged items by, and picked and bagged, so you know who's signed it all off. And then it's given a code number, so it's a specific kit. So, and you can see how long they've been going, because this checklist was created in 1981. Then when we turn over, we've got a little welcome letter. It says all kits in the Dean's range are warships and merchant ships are to the common scale of 1 to 96. So you have made the first step towards your own fleet. They would like you to buy many kits, I'm guessing. We have solved most of the problems of ship stability that has frustrated modelers ever since slim, fast warships first graced the seas and set the pulse racing in children of all ages. These kits have been carried over to all of the other craft in our kit range, these skills, and have been incorporated in the 1 to 24 scale fast craft and the 148 and 135 scale harbour range. Dean's Marine kits all follow the specifications laid down by myself and are as accurate in detail and performance as practical. One of the secrets of the latter is the choice of superstructure building materials and the special thin topside to the hull. Before you start to build your model, you should read these instructions and read them again. Do not set off in a rush, take your time. You will know when your model is finished, because one day you will realise that you cannot think of anything else to do with it. Before that day, of course, you will have commissioned your ship and had various trials to ensure she is ready to join her sisters in the scale fleet you will meet on the water. So that's a nice introduction, isn't it? Then there's a little bit of history about the hospital ship St. Olaf. Then for information, it tells you that there's a CD containing all the pictures, approximately 200, taken during construction of all the prototype models, is available from Dean's Marines. Well, we've got that included. Then some history. So if that's history, what was that? Oh, it's a sort of a note on, aftermarket, aftercare. Then we've got some history. Then they talk about the laser cut plastic sheets. Then there's a list of recommended parts for motorizing the model. So it tells you what you should be getting. And then it talks about other products that you might want. So they talk about the Dilux range of epoxies and CAs. So they use quite a lot of Deluxe in there, including glue and glaze, all stuff that I use for my modelling every day anyway. Then they talk about upgrade detail parts, so figures and laser cut deck planks. And then we go to construction of a boat stand cut from ply or blockboard, fit foam rubber to the inside face of the stand. Okay, so they're giving you a plan, a template for you to make a stand. Okay, that's really cool. So I don't think you've got the materials for that in there. You'd have to do that yourself. In fact, we know there was no material in there. Then we talk about hull preparation. So that's sanding, cleaning, so on and so forth. and they do it step by step. So sand the top edge of the hull down to the capping mark. This continuous band is approximately 1 millimeter wide. The best way to remove excess fiberglass is with alloy oxide paper held around a block of wood. Start with coarse grains and use of paper to complete with finer grains. The use of a file or saw foam is not recommended as this can crack the gel coat. Okay, so very vital that you read these really, really carefully. And then there's, you know, mounting the prop shaft in. They're continuing with that, mounting the motor. Then fitting the central keel, which I think refers to inside of the ship. Some of these things you could skip if you just want to do it static. So then they're talking about propellers and prop shaft, fixing hints and tips, rudder installation. So we're on page 9 now, and we're talking about the rudder. So you can see here it's a white metal rudder. So yeah, fitting the rudder servos. Cut bulkheads from spare plastic sheet. Okay, trial fit into the hull as loose fitting bulkheads. So this is strengthening the hull basically. So there's all sorts of wooden bits and pieces that you've got to put in. You've also got to put in a rim for the deck to sit on. So you've got to make sure you get that perfectly straight and lined up. So yeah, lots of detail in here. Fitting the radio equipment, cutting out the bulwarks, how to go about it, detailing the bulwarks, simplified method, detailing the bulwarks, full scale method. Okay, so I think the simplified version is using the little plastic triangles, or you can cut sticks and then you get the gap, which is how they should be. Then finishing the hull, general guide, we've got there 18 steps. And then page 13, we're looking at the funnel. So taking it from that simple vac form to that 7 steps. Then how to build the vac form lifeboats, which includes adding the vac form internal parts and the bits there. And then of course you've got paint instructions in there. Paint the hull matte white, fit the skirts to the underside of the hull from scrap cut into strips. So all sorts of tips there. Then you've got painting instructions. So some may not apply to your model. So I wonder how generic some of these instructions are. And then you've got a particular call out for the St. Olaf, and they're referencing Humbrol acrylic, Humbrol colours. They've got acrylic colour name and a Humbrol code. So yeah, I'm going to list all the numbers. Not sure that all of those still exist actually. Then we've got page 16, which is a map of our brass etch, which gives us the numbers for all the different parts in there, which will be handy later on. Then we've got some information on the scale speed of the ship. So what she does in terms of scale knots and that sort of stuff. So that's quite interesting actually. Wow, it's really, really technical, that. Then page 18, we've got a map of what's in the tray. And yeah, the other tray, so the 2 trays, and then the 3rd tray being the Carly float stacks. So there you go. That's all of that done. Then this one, US Army Hospital Ship St. Olaf, historical background. It shows a very basic drawing of the ship there with its masts and saying main deck, boat deck, bridge deck, top deck. Bit more historical background, and then assembly procedure. Read all instructions carefully because, yeah, I guess that's mainly done with the hull. We didn't see anything there about superstructure. So I'm guessing this is going to focus on the superstructure because this was all fairly generic tips on how to do the hull and wasn't necessarily specific to the St. Olaf kit all the time. Some of it was, some of it wasn't. So again, it's telling you to read everything before you do anything. Then we've got some general heat sinking brass into plastic, running gear, painting, brass etching. So these are all denoted. So it's giving you lots of information about how to find things, how to treat things. Heat sinking brass. So yeah, so basically you heat up the brass part and the brass melts into the plastic. So the heat in the part melts into the plastic and that's how you fitted it. Yeah. Then we've got an adhesive guide. So a list of adhesives, some examples and what you would use those adhesives for. So wood to metal and fiberglass, Bostik hot glue, wood to wood where the joint is likely to get wet, alphatic water resisting. Yeah, I happen to have some of these. So yeah, and then the filler that they're using is milliput because it's water resistant, of course. Then we've got some specific notes on the hull preparation specific to this kit. Yeah, so yeah, measuring the actual position of the holes, drilling the holes, giving you the dimensions. Yeah, all good. Putting beams in, hull cross beams from strips of MD1, so that's the wood that we saw in there. Specific instructions around fitting the propeller for this kit and fitting the rudder. Stuff on the rudder shaft. So if you think of everything else as sort of tips that we've seen, this is talking about what you specifically have to do in this kit. Then we have cutting out the hull openings, fit brass etched ring to circular openings. So we've got photo etch to finish the scuttles there, handrail stanchions, removing and how to remove them and all that sort of stuff. Lots and lots and lots of information. They have really tried to give you everything you need to know. How to start building up the plastic parts. So it's listing the parts and showing you a top view of what it should look like, placing it where it should go. Forward and aft hatch refers to being able to access into the hull for the motors and the batteries and stuff. Yeah, and there we go. More frames being built up, more buildings, showing all sorts of angles and talking you through it. Really good. Using stiffeners around the curved front deck. More stiffeners. So yeah, the front deck has these portholes in it. How to reinforce the plastic. Really, really clever stuff. And all very, very detailed in its explanation. Showing you where to put the doors and where to put the lamp in the recess that you've created, compass deck, ladders that go up the side, all again melted into the plastic. mounting the funnel, or making the funnel and mounting it. And we've got skylights there, the Red Cross platforms, so for aerial recognition. Assembling the ship's boats in more detail. Then we've got little doors or hatches or something being made. Then building up the davits, which we know are a combination of white metal and photo etch. And then we've got we've got the loads of Red Cross transfers that need to go onto all those resin rafts. Then in step 8, other fittings, we've got all these fittings going in, and we refer to the plan for placing them. And then you can see all of these, where the life stacks go and so on. This is a major project, by the way. It's a major project. Should be a lot of fun. There's a lot of cleanup to do on the parts. Shows you where to put the decals. Then we're building up the masts and rigging them. We've got dimensions for all of those, where the rigging all goes. Yeah, signal halyards, and that is it. Also included in there was a link to somebody else who makes flags, should you want to. So that is it. What do I think of the Dean's Marine St. Olaf kit? Well, it's a very different beast to anything we've ever had before on this channel. It's completely different than any other kit I've got in there. This is a retirement project. I plan to get another one, which is a First World War warship. I think when it's built up, this is a different beast to a normal model kit. This is not about the detail. This is about getting something that looks right, but you can actually go and put it on a lake and have some fun and sail with it. And I think my grandkids will love to sit next to me while I play with my boat on a lake in my retirement, because that's the plan. So yeah, I'm looking forward to building this. It's not something I'm going to be building in the near future, but when we get to it, it will be a lot of fun. All the parts are big and chunky, so if my eyes have deteriorated and my hands have got a shake and stuff, you'll still be able to build this. To build it as a static kit, which is another consideration, then it's even easier, because you've not got to mess around with mounting all those motors and stuff. So I could build it either way. I'd be happy to look at that as a static ship, and I'd equally be happy bombing it around a lake somewhere. So yeah, there you go. The Dean's Marines kit, I think the instructions are really detailed. There's more information on the website. They've thought of everything. They've given you everything that you need in this kit, other than the radio control equipment and adhesives and paints. So you're pretty much ready to fly. If you go through this carefully, there's no reason why you won't come out with a very nice replica of an unusual, rare subject. You don't see model kits of hospital ships. They're not considered sexy enough to sell, but that is going to be striking on a lake. Massive white ship with a massive green stripe and red crosses. It's going to draw the eye. It's going to draw the eye more than all the grey ones that are bombing around. So that's why I got it, because there isn't enough big liner style ship kits around, and this is as big as you get. Thanks for looking in. I hope that was interesting, even if you're not interested in building large-scale RC kits at all. And if you are, you now got an understanding of what you get in a Dean's Marine kit, and most particularly in the St. Olaf kit. Thanks for looking in. You enjoy your modelling, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now.